When I saw the amount that she was selling at, I was pretty shocked.
In the first meeting, I said, do you want to co-host the podcast with me?
There's like a gazillion businesses in this building. What's the odds of him like walking through here? It's like maybe it's just a coincidence.
And I think it's actually my first memory of positive wastage that I can pinpoint from my own life.
I believe it's something, spillage is something you should always strive for. That simple act led to years of work. It also led to you and I meeting.
Oh, yes, because I met you through him. Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the Push podcast. My name's Jack Ferguson, an experienced brand strategist with a science background. In my career, I've worked across 25 industries and helped increase client and employer revenue by over $40 million. I will be your host. This season of the podcast is essential listening for marketers looking to better sell their strategies to stakeholders, get client buy-in, and keep internal teams engaged. Thanks for being here, and don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 59 of the Push Podcast. I appreciate you joining me today. Brands and marketers. So we're taught to optimize inputs for predictable outcomes. And I wanted to do an episode where we focus on unpredictable outcomes because not everything that is effective is measurable upfront. I talk about positive wastage, inputs that create unintended helpful outcomes, value that spills beyond the original goal. This episode's co-host is brand identity designer Tutai Marongere. He has over a decade of experience helping businesses look and feel like they mean business and has worked across numerous industries, including retail, professional services, hospitality, and cosmetics. You can find links to both of our online presence in the description of the episode. We're going to share stories of positive wastage from our professional lives, and this is about recognizing and leveraging unintended value when it appears. And then once recognized, designing for that value or that positive wastage or that spillage. Please enjoy the episode. Let's get started. Hello, Tutai. How are you going today?
I'm good, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We're going to be talking about something today. As you do, it's a podcast. It'd be a bit weird if we didn't talk about anything. But the reason I wanted to get you on is I know that you've got a lot of stories around this topic. And it's the concept of positive wastage and like getting bigger outcomes than the inputs should theoretically allow in the world of branding, in the world of marketing. So yes. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So inputs that create outputs that you theoretically shouldn't get. And that's going to be based around the concept of positive wastage. So there's a bit of a word salad there for me to get this started, but kick us off with a story, Tutai, okay. And I'll share some stories as well, and we'll go back and forth.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay, imagine this. So you get ready to go out on, I believe it was like a Thursday night. You have a blazer on, your loafers, ready to go. It's raining outside. You've been invited to this business event. It's like a meetup. I believe I found it on meetup.com. The idea was getting different businesses and different industries and sectors together. It wasn't a huge event, maybe about 20 people together in one place. And, you know, you get there, like I said, it was raining. So my blazer was wet, drenched. Mm-hmm. Get in there, sit down, put the blazer where the umbrellas are and everything. They had a few like speakers at the event. It was a really nice event, awesome people, heaps of food around, drinks, so super comfortable event where everybody could talk in a safe environment. People exchange numbers, details, that sort of thing.
And you were there to try and win business, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I was there to look for some business.
Yeah. Was everyone else doing that as well?
Yes.
Which can happen at those things. Everyone's trying to sell to each other, but no one actually wants to buy.
Which is weird, right? Yeah. So that was the situation. At the time, I believe I was selling logos at a ridiculous amount. So this is very, very, very early days.
And by ridiculous amount, I assume you mean ridiculously low amount?
Ridiculously low.
What, $50?
Around about those numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hard to live on that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I get there and everybody's exchanging these details. It's now at the end of the event, so people have left and they start packing up and it's still raining outside. And I had arrived by taxi. I was going to take a taxi back. This is before Uber, so this is how long ago this was. Mm-hmm. So I was going to grab a taxi and I was like, I don't want to get rained on again. So let me just help these guys, pack up. So I'm helping people pack up and I find out that the person that I'm helping pack up was the person who actually organize the event. Well, it was a bit obvious because she was one of the speakers, but we got to talking and then find out she's a graphic designer, which makes sense now that her idea was to bring these businesses together, obviously also to garner some work for herself.
Yep.
Long story short, this wonderful lady was like, you know what? How about we catch up? And because at this point we now knew we're both graphic designers, and it's kind of like that when you know sort of thing, like a click mentality. Anyway, we vibed really well, and she was like, "Let me check out your work." I showed her some work on my phone. She was like, "Oh, cool. We should catch up. I run an agency and we should talk about working together." A few days later, we catch up over some coffee, go over her website. She's showing me what she does, how she does her business. Basically, she was outsourcing and she would get people to do the iterations and then she'll finalize the work and then she would then present it to the client and then sell it. When I saw the amount that she was selling at, I was pretty shocked because it wasn't that the work was any better than what I was producing. Would even say the opposite.
What was she selling it for? She
was selling it for around about $3,000.
Right. So 30 times or maybe 60 times what you were charging.
Yes.
And half the quality for what you're implying.
And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Right? So, we had that meeting and everything. We ended up not working together. However, I did learn the pricing. The big lesson here, the positive wastage here is I go into this event trying to find at least one client to buy a logo off me for $50, right? Mm-hmm. The positive wastage, I'll just go back to that, was I go into this looking for business, trying to sell something for $50 because I thought, numbers game, do 100 of those in a week, you'll be good, Doesn't work like that because finding 100 clients. So I go in there trying to get one client or so, come out and realizing that my prices are way too low and I'm targeting the wrong people and I'm going around the wrong way. So moving forward, I kept doubling my prices. Within about 6 months, I had surpassed what was being charged. Prior to that, everybody was always saying yes when I told them the price.
Oh, yes, they would.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I thought I was just, pretty good at selling. Because everybody's saying yes, right? I must be really good at sales, but nah.
Low price can help. Yeah,
exactly.
Can help. If someone offers me a Lamborghini for $500, I'm probably taking
it, right?
Yeah. Straight face. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's actually, I think I can make that work. Sure. It's interesting because you said before about playing the numbers game and trying to approach, say, 100 people. If we're thinking about this from a brand perspective, you'd also think that those 100 people you approach, you may burn them all. And if they need a logo in 6 months, they may not want to go with you because there was nothing more than he tried to sell me something, and they'll forget about you. Whereas if you build that connection with someone, it's effectively brand building, right? But in a relationship context. So I think there is an interesting lesson to brand building there, and it may be even having part of what you do be dedicated to optimizing, or not optimizing, but allowing for positive wastage, like not being too outcome focused with absolutely everything that you do from a brand point of view. There is some just getting something out there, and then serendipity happens a bit. And I used to do meetup events myself. Ironically, the Push, the brand, that's how it started, as a meetup event group before it turned into more of an event series. And then it's obviously a podcast now and more of a media brand now. But those events were a lot of work. They weren't very profitable. But my positive wastage from them was actually, I made a lot of friends from the events that I ran, which I wasn't doing. That's not why I was doing it. But if we look at, say, Ben Reeves, who's been on the podcast a few times, that I met him at one of the events that I put on. And even being on LinkedIn, I'm obviously there to promote myself, but I saw a post from Alex Urquhart, who co-hosted the first 32 episodes of this podcast with me on LinkedIn. I remember reading something that he wrote, and it was one of the first things I read from him, and I just thought I'd get along with this guy. So I reached out to him. I said, love what you wrote. Let's meet, because he was in Brisbane as well. And in the first meeting, I said, do you want to co-host the podcast with me? And I just sort of knew from that first interaction that would work. And so then we ended up doing 32 episodes together, which was a lot of fun. And it's not why I was on LinkedIn, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't there to try and get that outcome from it. So
exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to share another story, then we'll go back to you. And I think it's actually my first memory of positive wastage that I can pinpoint from my own life.
Okay.
But useful to brands, I think, in the sense that it is a bit of a framework that we can think about something through, because I hear this, that you said, I got this positive wastage from this event I went to. But for me, you want to take those learnings and then incorporate that into what you do and hopefully engineer a bit more what you do in the future. Yeah. So there's positive wastage, but then there's recognizing positive wastage and
leveraging it.
Yes, from that point. So I was, I think, about 13 or 14 at the time, I would say, and I was at a friend's house. And I remember walking down the hallway and I could hear my favorite music. I was a punk rocker as a kid. I could remember it playing on the speakers, or I didn't actually know what it was playing on, but I thought, oh yeah, I love this song, whatever it was. Like it was playing through TV speakers.
Okay.
Which was attached to the Tony Hawk. I think it was on PlayStation at the time. It was a video game, which ended up becoming huge when I was a kid. But someone was playing this game. My friend was playing this game, and I overheard the soundtrack for it and was intrigued by it. And then I got interested in the game after that, and really actually a little bit interested in skating after that as a more cultural phenomenon. I never really skated, but I just showed a little bit more of an interest in it after that point. And I did research recently how skateboarding exploded around that time, and they did call it the Tony Hawk effect. And I think that's why, is because that they effectively joined these two cultures together. So the punk rockers and the skaters became one, and a big part of that connection was the Tony Hawk game, that it only had that music on it. But the original point was that someone else is playing a game. I recognized the music. I didn't recognize the game, but the music then got me interested in the game. And it was so culturally prevalent at that time that it actually got me interested in skating as well. That's not always possible, that part, but thinking in terms of what you can overhear is one way that we can engineer positive wastage a bit more as brands. If you think of the Windows song, when you open a computer, the startup.
Yes.
Like you don't have to be using it to overhear it. You could have, I've done an episode on Play-Doh, but the smell of Play-Doh, like you might not be using the Play-Doh yourself, but you get a whiff of it,
yes.
Obviously. Even phone ringtones, you hear someone else's phone ring and that's, you have your iPhone ringtone, there's the default, there's all that type of thing. So you don't have to be doing it yourself, but there is that positive wastage that was, maybe not technically positive wastage in that case because it is engineered, but this idea that what you do and what you intended the outcome to be, if you stay open to other outcomes or engineer for other, like network, spillage. Yeah. It's a type of thinking I love doing when it comes to brand building. But I know you've got another story, so hit us.
Okay. All right. So with the story I'm about to tell you, a bit of a caveat. I am a smoker. Don't judge me. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. Well, it so happens a few years ago, I was starting my last job. So this is before I started freelancing full time. Mm-hmm. First day of the job, in the morning, we had, the introductions to everything. They show you how to work the machines and everything. It was a small team. Everybody but me was had been there before. I was just the new guy. So they show me everything. It would have been around break time. Everybody is now going to buy their lunch. I didn't want to buy lunch. I brought in some lunch. So it was kind of pointless. I was like, okay, I'll see you guys back at the office because everybody's going to eat back in the office anyway. I go out, sneak out for my smoker.
That's your lunch, right?
Light
cigarettes in my lunch.
I didn't hear that. Oh, goodness. So I'm halfway through the smoke. And there's this guy, he's probably 10, 12 meters away from me. And he's lighting one up as well. Bear in mind, this is when everybody's pretty much left the building. So it's almost like the desert. There's nobody. There's just two people there. Right?
In the building?
Outside. Okay. So I went out. You're not allowed to smoke inside, mate.
I'm just asking. Yep. Just asking.
So this is outside. So he's trying to light up his ciggy there, and the light is not working.
So he was a beginner.
After a few tries. I walk over and I'm like, just use my lighter and, lit up a ciggy. We spoke for maybe, 2 minutes, went on our way. Went inside, had lunch, started working. The thing with the office, for some reason, they always would have the door open. But it was one of those buildings where you have a corridor. A lot of buildings have corridors, but in this specific one, that corridor had different businesses within that corridor. But our doors was open. Opposite our door was, I believe, a freelancer who did 3D modeling. And then to the right, if you're looking straight into the corridor, there was another door, which was a business that did something similar to where I had started. Anyway, I am on the computer typing along, and I see this guy walk. This is the guy that I shared the lighter with. He walks into that room, and I'm like, that's weird. I just saw this guy outside. There's a gazillion businesses in this building. What's the odds of him walking through here? It's maybe it's just a coincidence. Then the next day, see him, same spot. He is having a cigarette, with no assistance. And
Oh, wow. So he learned that skill overnight.
yeah,
Well done, mate.
must have
I
got
hope you
the
complimented
mountains.
him on that.
Oh, that great technique. It was
One foul
likely a
swoop with
lighter, man.
the lighter, yeah.
So obviously you probably got a new lighter or something. We started talking more. We ended up being friends. Turns out that door he was walking through that I saw him, that was actually a business that he had founded. And within that business, they were in need of designers, which just in conversation, in passing, he tells me. And I so happen to be a designer. And he gave me work for years, like after that. The positive wastage here is that simple act led to years of work. It also led to you and I meeting as well.
Oh, yes, because I met you through him.
Yes,
true.
So without that friendly gesture,
without that friendly gesture, you wouldn't be on the podcast right now. I mean, I'm just thinking about that, and I go like how that can be used. I mean, the concept. I can see that being used in sales a bit more, that you just kind of go to something and just are open, or you participate in the world and you're open to what happens around you.
I think openness, being open and being aware of situations is key. It's pivotal. How else are you going to identify the possible spillage, or if there is spillage?
Yeah, true. That one might be a little bit harder to replicate.
I would say I did learn something from that. Being human. It sounds like such an obvious thing, but at the end of the day, we're all human. So even with clients, like I talk to them like people, being relatable, being open and letting people be open with you. And I think that's what builds genuine connections rather than just a transaction. If I could have just given him the lighter and then that was it. If I saw him the next day, thumbs up, or for those that don't know, I'm very introverted. I don't talk to anybody. So I think that's why I'm saying being open and stepping out of your comfort zone is pivotal. That's all I want to add.
And in the brand context, I mean, we've worked together on projects before, we still do.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about that now, that if someone wanted an asset, the number one asset we'd like to create for someone is vehicle wraps. And the reason for that is to maximize the possibility of spillage. So have more people see it, so that they ask that person where they got that, and then just spark that referral conversation, which a lot of brands can think like that too. Like, how can we engineer something so that what we put out into the world sparks a conversation or sparks interest in some way, and what can we optimize for there or not? And in the way that we work together, that would be one example of that. But I loved hearing these stories. I actually kind of liked sharing those stories as well. It's been a while since I've revisited my teens mentally. Maybe I'm still in my teens mentally, but good fun. And is there something that you want to leave the audience with? Where can they find you, and what's your final word on the topic of positive wastage and spillage? Let's call it spillage as well. We'll say that it's spillage when it's deliberate, positive wastage when it's accidental.
I believe spillage is something you should always strive for. That's the optimal, right? And positive wastage, be open, be aware, step outside of your comfort zone. Don't be so close-minded.
That's assuming people are close-minded. Don't be so close-minded.
We're all close-minded at the end of the day, if we're to be honest with ourselves. And where people can find me, they can go to linkedin.com/in/TUTAI, because that's my name, Tutai Marongere.
Amazing. Thank you for being part of the conversation, Tutai. I loved hearing your stories.
Thanks for having me on, Jack. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Push Podcast. Please remember to subscribe, and if you are enjoying the episodes, please leave a review of the podcast on your platform of choice. It really helps to build the podcast credibility and to help others find this type of information.